What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into TTP Sports. And sadly, tonight the Flyers were not able to record 2 points against the Dave Hackstall and the Seattle Kraken. They fall in overtime, but they do record the 1 point. And in these two back-to-back games last night in Vancouver, which, the people that did join last night for the watch party for that very nice win against one of the top teams in the NHL in the Vancouver Canucks, that was a very impressive win, especially coming off of the long break for the holidays. And you go in, back-to-back travel and everything like that, and apparently there's some type of sickness going on in the Flyers locker room. There's a lot of guys dealing with some type of bug. You saw it, when Sam Ersson and Travis Konecny both had to lead the game early last night. So I think there's just something that's going along in that Flyers locker room that's just infecting some of the guys. And I probably think that got to them a little bit, just plus, with the back-to-back and the travel and the overnight and all that stuff. I think that just fully got to them tonight. They definitely were, in the first period, the better team, and basically they just lost their legs as the game went along, as Seattle got momentum back into the game. Carter Hart was fantastic in tonight's game. He was one of the sole reasons why you even got to the overtime to begin with. He was huge in that second period, especially when Seattle started to get their legs going, and then basically throughout the entire third period, making a bunch of huge saves. He even made a bunch of huge saves in the overtime before, your defense collapsed in the defensive zone. A nice pass over to Schultz, and he just manages to tap it through Carter Hart's legs as he's sliding over to get to his other post, and that's how the game is won. I don't care what any, stupid Flyers fan wants to say on social media, saying, oh, why does Carter Hart constantly give up soft goals and everything like that? Why the fuck are you blaming Carter Hart after tonight's game? Like, I don't understand the reason why. You look at the entire process of this game, and the first thing you want to go to is pointing fingers at Carter Hart. Carter Hart definitely, no, he's not, avoided of criticism. I think he doesn't deserve criticism for tonight's game. If you want to judge the goal that he gave up in overtime, the Flyers completely lost the legs that they had the entire game. That is the bottom line. Look at the entire picture here. You're coming off of your holiday break, 4 days off. Of course, there's going to be some rust involved. And now there's some type of sickness that's going through your locker room. And it started with last night at Vancouver. You managed to find a way to win that game, in very convincing fashion. And today, with the sickness, the travel, the back-to-back and everything like that, I think it just got to you. Travis Konecny definitely was feeling it throughout the game. He was getting hit everywhere. He was falling everywhere, grimacing, throughout the entire process. He does get a shorthanded goal in this game, so that's back-to-back games with a shorthanded goal for this Flyers squad. The power kill, if you want to describe it as that. I think I did see a stat there that a couple of people, I believe it was Jordan Hall from NBC Sports Philadelphia, that posted it on Twitter, that the Flyers, they have 12 power play goals and they have 9 shorthanded goals this year. So will the penalty kill catch up to the power play goal totals? It's close. It could. But yeah, the first period, the Flyers, they had 3 power plays in this game. Of course, they didn't score on the power play. Like, what else is new? They hit their power play quota after they scored in last night's game with Yegor Zamula's goal. So I definitely wasn't expecting anything from the power play in this game. You definitely would like to, cash one in those situations. I think the Flyers would love to cash in on the situations, since they get so many power plays and they rarely cash in on them. But, extend that 1-0 lead, give Carter Hart a little more breathing room, and to where you don't have to constantly play on your heels. It gets Seattle a little more desperate, to where they're making many more mistakes, where it could lead to possible odd man rushes going the other way. For the goaltender on the other side in Seattle, Dackert, he was good today. He definitely was good with his rebound control when you're dumping the puck, and he's very active with his stick to control the puck. Seattle played a good game as the game went along. They got to the Flyers, they made them, press and everything like that. And I think also it's just because, everything that's going on right now with whatever bug that's happening in the Flyers locker room, I think that also had some effect on it, just plus everything with the back-to-back and all that stuff. So, hey, you look at the bigger picture out of all this stuff, you get 3 or 4 points in back-to-back games. I think in any type of scenario, you take that 100% of the time. That's just my personal opinion, because in back-to-backs, they're just always tough to win, especially when you're traveling. So when you get 3 or 4 points, especially with the way this team plays on the road, and especially how they're able to just drag points out of teams, just, non-stop, hey, you take those and run with it every single day of the week. 3 or 4 points, 3 or 4 points, I will take that in any type of back-to-back scenario. Now you got a day off tomorrow, you play on New Year's Eve against the Calgary Flames, I believe, then you have another couple of days off before you play Edmonton before you come back home. So I'm not sure how much longer this, bug situation that's going to stick with this team right now, just because of how many guys that are probably dealing with a little bit of the illness situation. TK was good to go and everything like that, so good on everything there, but hey, I can't be overly mad. With the way this team played last night, they found a way to squeak out a point in this game. They definitely did not deserve to win the game. Seattle definitely deserved to win at 100%. I know there's probably some Flyers fans salty just because it's Dave Hackstall behind the bench for Seattle. I don't have any animosity towards Dave Hackstall. I just don't. I just want to forget about that era of Flyers hockey. He's probably a hate the face for some guys. Some people want to treat him like Jonathan Gannon or anything like that. I mean, like, this is not Jonathan Gannon. This is nowhere close to anything Jonathan Gannon related. I think, Dave Hackstall, out of, the most hated faces in Philadelphia in terms of sports figures, I think Dave Hackstall is very low on that list. So it just is what it is at this point. You lose a game, but it was a tough battle. You found a way to squeak a point out of it. TK gets a shorthanded goal. You allow a shorty in the third period after Carter Hart was basically playing spectacular. You found a way to fight the overtime. You had a power play late to where maybe you could find a way to squeak this one out, getting a 2 points in regulation. But sadly, the power play sucks. And like I said, you hit the power play quota last night in Vancouver. So I fully was not expecting any type of power play goals whatsoever. The Flyers definitely did struggle with some of the lines for Seattle tonight. I think it was the Beniers line, but Tatar and all that stuff. It's weird, though. Thomas Tatar, he starts with the Colorado Avalanche this year. Completely different type of team than Seattle is. He struggles in Colorado, but as soon as he gets traded to Seattle, he has like 4 points in 5 games or something like that. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and it always feels like Tomas Tatar does something against the Flyers. I don't think he did anything in tonight's game. I'm not sure. No, he did not. He did not record a point at all. But Seattle was also hot coming into this game. I believe they were on a 7 or 8 game point streak. So they're definitely playing their best hockey of the season in this stretch. So you could definitely just, throw it up to you're coming in against a very hot team. But you also played a very hot team and one of the better teams in the NHL in the Vancouver Canucks last night. And you found a way to get 3 out of 4 points against these two teams. So there's really nothing, in my honest opinion, that people should complain about in this scenario. They'll find ways to complain about it just because, some people just enjoy being miserable. That's just the bottom line there. But hey, 3 or 4 points. Carter Hart was spectacular. Back to back. You're dealing with some type of sickness. So I'm not gonna complain. I do think some people were definitely complaining about the fourth line at tonight's game, and I do think there's some type of analytics sheet page. Yeah, they definitely got a little bit toasted in tonight's game. Delorier, Hathaway, and Lawton. Sean Walker and Nick Seeler actually did not have good games according to this list as well. Travis Konechny, Sanheim, Tippett, Couturier, they all had really good games for the most part. But yeah, it just felt like basically as the game just went along, you lost your legs. That's just what it felt like. I think it was just, in result to the back-to-back, in result to, the sickness, whatever is going around. You get the day of rest tomorrow, and then you go off to your little bit of, trip to Alberta with Calgary and Edmonton. Hopefully, with the day of rest, they can get some of these guys that are feeling a little bit under the weather into a little bit better shape here to, move on. So if we're looking at the next few games here, Calgary Flames, they're definitely not a strong team. They are 14, 16, and 5. They actually have the most shorthanded goals in the NHL, just ahead of the Flyers. So that is very interesting there. I do want to look at this Calgary team just to see, because they've been a weird mixed bag ever since they made that huge trade with the Panthers, trading away Matthew Tkachuk and getting Jonathan Huberdeau and all that stuff. They've really been a mixed bag. And Uberdo, ever since getting traded away from Florida, just has not been the same type of player. He has not meshed well with Calgary's system at all. So I just want to see what the Flames are just overall doing this year in terms of like producers and everything like that. Kadri, he's got 25 points in 35 games. Coleman, 24 points, 12 goals, 12 assists. Where is Uberdo? Uberdo's got 15 points, man. 4 goals, 11 assists. What the hell happened to this guy? What the hell happened to this guy? Looking at the goaltending situation, Markstrom definitely hasn't been his strong self this year. Definitely better than what he did last season. But 271 goals against, 904 save percentage. Their backup Ladar hasn't been any better. So they're just a mediocre team this year. That's basically what they are. You know, Elias Lindholm, I believe he's on the last year of his contract. I believe Mackenzie Weegar is too, if I'm not mistaken, or it's Noah Hannafin. I don't honestly remember. But yeah, you just gotta beat this team. And if I want to look at Calgary's, last few games just to see what they've been doing recently coming up in this game. So before the holiday break, they lost to Seattle 2-1. They lost to LA. Then they won 3 in a row before that against Tampa Bay, Florida, and Anaheim. So they played a strong stretch of games there. And then they lost 4 games in a row to the Devils, the Avalanche, Vegas in overtime, and the Minnesota in a shootout. So they've lost more than they've won this month. That's basically the bottom line there. They're a mediocre team. They lose more than they win from the most part of it right here. They're just a right around 500 type of team. That's what I see from this Calgary Flames squad. And if we look at some of the other team that we're facing, the Edmonton Oilers, they currently on the season, they are, if I can find the goddamn record, I don't know why I didn't see it earlier. Edmonton, they are 16, 15, and 1. So they're the same point total as Calgary. They got off to a very, very bad start to the year. The Flyers actually did face Edmonton earlier in the season, and they did win that game. So I think they've been playing a lot better as of late, especially, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. McDavid was off to a very slow start this year, but now he's got 45 points in 30 games, so he's definitely going to eclipse that 100-point plateau. It just, wasn't going to be the point total that he had last season. What was it, like 135 plus or something like that? It was some crazy number that he had last year. 153 points, actually. I was way off. 130 something. No, he had 153. Jesus Christ. Get it right. Get it right, for God's sakes. But, Edmonton definitely more of an offensive type of squad. Goaltending wise, their goaltending has not been good. Stuart Skinner, and they got Calvin Pickard as the backup because I'm assuming their goaltending situation is just absolutely terrible, as it always is with the Edmonton Oilers. No depth, no defensive depth, and no goaltending. It's just Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl trying to carry their asses. I know Zach Hyman has been really good for them. Yeah, he has 20 goals on the year, 33 points. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting next 2 games for this Flyers team. But it's important for this team to get a couple of days off here. Like I said, they got a day off tomorrow. Then they play on New Year's Eve against Calgary. Then they get off for New Year's Day. Then they play on the 2nd against the Edmonton Oilers. And then they have a 4-game homestand after that to start off 2024. Columbus on Thursday the 4th. Saturday the 6th against Calgary. That is a 1 o'clock game. Monday the 8th against the Penguins, and the 10th, a Wednesday, against Montreal. Then they go to the West Coast again, but in the Central Division, so it's not late times, thank God. Minnesota, Winnipeg, and Seattle. Then they have another 4-game homestand near the end of January. 18th against Dallas, the 20th against Colorado, 21st against Ottawa, and the 23rd against Tampa Bay. They're on the road in Detroit on the 25th, and then they're back home on the 27th against the Boston Bruins. Then it looks like they have a few days off after this. 4 days off, actually, but I'm assuming that's the All-Star break. I'm assuming that is the All-Star break. Yeah, that's a whole week off. Yeah, so that's what is 100% the All-Star break. So after the 27th, they have off from the 28th of January to the 6th of February. Jesus Christ, that is a long time off for the All-Star break. I think the NHL is doing now with, I think, because the NHL, if you guys remember this, I'm blabbering right now. So if you remember this in the comment section down below, they Like it was like a couple of seasons ago where every team, like, they mixed, they flip-flop bye weeks. One team got a bye week, or this many teams got a bye week this certain week or something like that. Then they went away with that, and then just every team got a bye week during All-Star week. So I'm assuming that's the case. They have that entire week off just for the All-Star break plus the bye week. So, hey, I guess you can't complain about everything in those scenarios. Then you get the month of February, got a couple of road games plus the outdoor game against the Devils. Then you got a couple of road games, home games as well, and then you just move on to the rest of the season. That's basically it there. So, yeah, you get yourself 3 of 4 points in these 2 games against Vancouver and, Seattle tonight. And even Torts is saying they just posted this on Twitter right now. If you told me we would get 3 out of 4 to start this road trip, I'd be jumping up and down. We're getting ready for our next one. Torts is perfectly fine getting 3 of 4 points in these first 2 games, especially after a long break. So, hey, you found a way to get those points, you move on now. That's basically all this team has to do at this point, and get healthier with whatever sickness it's going around. So, that's the bottom line there. That is, love the way this team has been playing overall, and let's see if it continues on Sunday in Calgary. I'll decide what I'm going to be doing recap-wise for that, because I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Because I did say yesterday we were going to New York, but now we're not because the family is still sick, because I got them sick, sadly. I'm feeling better right now. It's just a cough. That's basically all I got. We were supposed to be doing something for New Year's Eve, but I'm not sure if the family's going to be healthy enough to be able to do anything. So in terms of recaps and all that stuff, I'll definitely recap the Eagles game on Sunday. It just fully depends on what happens with the Flyers situation, if we are going out that night with our family and all that stuff. So definitely just, you'll find it in your subscription feed and all that stuff. So stay tuned for all that stuff. But for now, thanks, guys, for tuning into this. If you're tuning this late at night when I'm recording this at around 1 in the morning, or you're tuning in this into, around when you wake up on Saturday morning. So I'm going to shut up now. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. And I'll see you next time.